I am up to my eyeballs in peanut butter, so I am on a mission to see how many recipes I can make using peanut butter, including prison pad thai. I'm going to also make some of my favorite vegetarian dish, coconut curry. I'm going to do some overnight oats with some peanut butter in it. I am going to put it in my coffee. I'm going to make ice cream in a bag using my Fluffer Nutter peanut butter powder. Let's get to stepping, shall we? Do you see all those red lids behind me right there? Those are all peanut butters. I had volunteered in this peanut butter factory. I'll be sure to insert some pictures right here. This was such a fun experience. Corey actually roasted the peanuts, and Olivia and I helped to assemble the jars and box it up. It was so much fun. I can't wait to go do it again. If you volunteer, they allow you to have one jar of peanut butter per shift, and they also let you buy it at a reduced rate. So anybody that buys natural peanut butter knows that it can be anywhere from $7 to $9 a jar. I was able to buy all those natural peanut butters up there for $1.25 a jar. We were going through them pretty steadily, using about one per week, and then we all of a sudden just stopped. And I need to do something with them, so we did have a lot of luck when we made Fluffer Nutter on the freeze dryer. One thing I will stress about peanut butter on the freeze dryer is it's got a lot of oil in it. It's not something you're going to want to store away for long term, but it's probably going to be gone within a few months. We're only doing one tray this time because we want to make sure we have our ratios right. Before, I was using one jar of the peanut butter to one of the smaller jars of the marshmallow cream. This time we got the bigger ones. I think it was a little bit cheaper. So what we're doing is we're using one jar of peanut butter to a half of a jar of the marshmallow cream. I asked Corey if we should drain the oil off the top, but he made a good point. He said that the oil would kind of help it mix a little bit better, and he was right. Actually, that's one of the benefits to using the natural peanut butter, in my opinion. So he just went ahead and mixed this up and then added it to the rest of the tray. So Corey just got back home, and look how pathetic this is. This is their daily routine. Whenever Corey comes home, she completely forgets I exist, and he has to walk around and carry her. So you should have seen him trying to get the Fluffer Nutter out of the freeze dryer while holding Hazel. Here it is. I think we made it a little bit thicker this time. We were in a hurry when we were stuffing the tray. I'm afraid if I break it into much smaller pieces, it's gonna fall apart. So I might turn this into a powder and put it in my hot chocolate or my coffee. This is definitely one of my favorite things on the freeze dryer. Corey said it tastes like fudge, like peanut butter fudge. Mm-hmm. I agree. It's so crumbly. Corey dropped a piece.
She's got crumbles there, and she got crumbles on her leg.
He picked up a piece and it just like shattered on her face. But I'm sure all the dogs are going to be trying to lick it off you in a little bit. It's that good, guys. I need water, though. I wanted to try to reconstitute this Fluffer Nutter mixture by adding a little bit of water. I added too much water to begin with, so I had to keep adding the mixture to it to get it to the right consistency. It's pretty much what I expected. If you've ever had powdered peanut butter before, it's the same texture. One of the main differences is going to be if you do try to put this on a sandwich, it's no longer a layer like a legit Fluffer Nutter with the peanut butter and the marshmallow just kind of all blended together, but it kind of has the same taste. Now, I've been eating peanut butter all day long. You just got home, so you get to do the honors. Meanwhile, I grab another piece of freeze-dried peanut butter.
Tastes pretty good.
I don't know if it's just a southern thing or what, but I grew up eating Fluffer Nutter sandwiches. Y'all, this was just a hot mess part right here. My words were failing me. I was forgetting the basic English language, and my mouth was sticking together from all the peanut butter I was eating, so it was just typical me, I guess. The look on Corey's face, though, he just is like, can we wrap this up already? As I'm sitting around trying to figure out what I want to eat for lunch and realizing that I need to start using more of my peanut butter, the first thing that came to mind was prison pad thai. If you've never had it, guys, it's ramen noodles with peanut butter and sriracha in it. You can add as many vegetables you want to elevate it, but I was going through gathering up all the ingredients and I came across this, and this is a pad thai noodle kit. I already went ahead and gathered all my ingredients, so we'll use this on another day. You're going to want to start with a package of ramen noodles. If you want to add meat, you can. I've got some hickory smoked tuna here, but I'm not quite sure yet that I'm going to add that. What I am going to add for a little extra protein is some of our freeze-dried eggs. I thought this would kind of make it like a cross between egg drop soup and pad thai. I'm going to use this adobo sauce, fried onion paste, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, freeze-dried green onions, sorted peppers, onions, garlic powder, sesame seeds. Just for flavor, going to spray a little bit of toasted sesame oil spray. I might add some peanuts to the top. I'm going to make the ramen noodles according to the package direction, but I'm going to add quite a bit more water. I like mine to be a little more on the soupy side. Plus, with all the freeze-dried vegetables that I'm adding, that's going to need to rehydrate. I just want there to still be a little bit of liquid left in there. Let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 cups of water, and you can use the seasoning packet if you want that's already in your ramen noodle. I'm going to go ahead and use it this time. I usually don't. It's full of sodium. I wish I could find my coconut aminos. I don't know where they are, but I'm going to have to use the soy sauce instead. Just going to put in a couple of drops. While I wait for the 3 cups of water to come to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and add my freeze-dried vegetables so those can start rehydrating. This fried onion paste is so awesome. It's very similar to Better Than Bouillon. It's very concentrated, so a little goes a long way. And then I went ahead and just started adding our seasonings and the freeze-dried green onions, the adobo sauce. You can use sriracha or any kind of chili paste that you want to kind of spice it up a bit. I'm going to go ahead and put in some of the freeze-dried eggs. Once the broth came to a boil, it was time to add the noodles. I forgot that this particular brand does come with some dehydrated vegetables as well as one of the sesame oil packets, and I wouldn't have sprayed my sesame oil if I knew that they were going to include that, and it just kind of gives it a little bit more of a spicy kick. And now for the star of the show, it is time to add the peanut butter. So I went in with about a tablespoon. I think I said earlier I was going to do 2 tablespoons, and then just a couple of drops of soy sauce, and it was ready to serve up. I added a little bit of peanuts and sesame seeds to the top for garnish. This was amazing. Right now I'm going to be working on dinner, which is going to be a peanut curry stew. I'm going to use all shelf-stable ingredients. It's hearty enough to eat on its own or put it over some quinoa or rice. These sticky rices, my family really likes these yellow rices. I haven't decided yet. I'm just living in the moment. Let's go in the kitchen and get started on the sweet potato kale curry stew. Only I'm not using kale because I don't have it. I'm using spinach. Let's go. So I have these sweet potatoes that are dehydrated that I need to use. Dehydrated vegetables do not last as long as freeze-dried. The recipe that I'm going with, it calls for 2 large sweet potatoes. So I'm going to just improvise and use about a cup or so of these dehydrated sweet potatoes, an onion, minced garlic, paprika, some ancho chili powder, some of this tropical all-purpose pepper seasoning, and I'm going to throw in some of this coconut milk powder. Even though the recipe does not call for it, I just think that that goes really well in any kind of South African or Indian curry dishes. A can of diced tomatoes, about a cup of the spinach flakes here, freeze-dried peppers, peanut sauce, peanut butter, about 1/3 of a cup. First, I added about a tablespoon of oil to a pan, and once I got that hot, I decided to go ahead and start sauteing the onions, followed by the sweet potatoes, and then I went ahead and threw in a little bit of garlic and let that go for a little bit so all the vegetables could soften and rehydrate. I started out just adding 1 cup of the sweet potato flakes, but I ended up adding a second cup. The original recipe called for 2 large sweet potatoes, so I figured that 1 large sweet potato equals 1 cup of the dehydrated flakes. Once the vegetables were softened, I went ahead and added the remaining ingredients. So we added the minced garlic, followed by 3 cups of water. Next, I added the can of diced tomatoes, followed by all the freeze-dried ingredients. The reason I didn't want to put the freeze-dried vegetables in when I was sauteing the other vegetables is because they really need to be rehydrated first, otherwise they just kind of get scorched. I have no idea why I keep doing this. I've been cooking for over 30 years, believe it or not, and I never seem to use the right size pots or bowls. I'm always filling things to the brim, and then if it starts to boil, it runs over, which is why my kitchen is always such a mess. But I don't want to dirty another dish, so we're going to just make the best with what we got and hope nothing overflows. Now it's time to add the peanut butter and all the seasonings. I ended up adding a little bit more water to it because with all those dehydrated and freeze-dried vegetables, they were soaking up a lot of the broth. And then I just went ahead and threw some additional seasonings in there. I'm sorry I didn't get to film the end result of that stew. My battery died, but guys, it was delicious. That is one of my favorite meatless meals. Sometimes I put chickpeas in there for a little added protein boost, but of course you can put meat in there too. I think chicken would go really, really nicely in there. It's got such great flavors with the peanut butter and the curry. It's just so good. I was looking for a breakfast idea of what I could make tomorrow using peanut butter. I was just going to grab one of these muffin mixes. This one here is banana nut. Banana and peanut butter go great together. I also have an apple cinnamon. Apple and peanut butter go great together. So I was going to just take one of these muffin mixes and then just do it on my waffle iron. My waffle iron is actually on our camper, so that won't be happening. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make some overnight oats for breakfast tomorrow. I'm sitting over here just looking around trying to brainstorm and getting some ideas of what recipes can I incorporate some peanut butter in. Right here, I don't know if y'all know that Jiffy makes more than cornbread. They also make brownie mix and muffin mixes. Here's some banana. Peanut butter would go really good in that. Peanut butter and chocolate go together, so I could make some peanut butter chocolate brownies. I can make peanut butter cookies. I've got the cookie mix down here, which has already got peanut butter in it, but if you just want to kind of kick it up a notch. Cinnamon muffin tops. Maybe you could put peanut butter in that. Here are some little tart shells. I could do my peanut butter pie recipe in these little shells. This one is shortbread, the graham cracker one. I could do my peanut butter pie recipe. Here's a vanilla pudding that I can make into a peanut butter pudding if I want to. I've got pancake mix. Actually, that's how I've eaten my pancakes for years. A lot of people use maple syrup. I've always made pancakes, just spread peanut butter over the top and just kind of let that melt It is insanely delicious. The options are endless. Now I've got to start making my overnight oats. Let's get started. We're going to use a half a cup of oats. We're going to use a tablespoon of chia seeds, half a cup of milk, a tablespoon of honey. We're going to use a fourth a cup of yogurt and about a tablespoon of peanut butter and this banana. I decided to go ahead and make 2 of these, and I will just do one that's apple and peanut butter along with the banana and peanut butter. For this basic overnight oat recipe, there's really no rhyme or reason. It doesn't really matter what order you put the ingredients in. I'm going to start out first by putting the oatmeal in, followed by the chia seeds, which are going to just make you feel full longer. Next, I'm going to add the milk, followed by some of this vanilla bean infused honey, which is delicious. I'm just going to half this little carton of yogurt between the two. I think yogurt's optional. You don't have to put it in if you don't want to. I went ahead and added a diced up apple to one and banana to the other, followed by some peanut butter, and just gave it a good mix. It typically takes a minimum of 5 hours to make these overnight oats, but they're called overnight oats obviously because a lot of people meal prep them, so they put them in the refrigerator the night before they want to use them, and that's what I did. So it's the next morning and I'm eager to try my Fluffernutter peanut butter powder in my coffee. So I go ahead and add a chunk in there and try to wait for a little bit for it to dissolve, and then I ended up adding a little bit more, and I wanted to add a little bit of creamer as well because that's how I drink my coffee. And then I used one of these little frothers to help mix it up real good and get out the clumps. This Fluffernutter powder in my coffee is really, really good. It's a nice alternative to putting sugar or some kind of sweetened creamer in here. It's got the perfect balance of peanut butter and marshmallow. I didn't feel like making a whole pot of coffee. It's the weekday, Corey's at work. I just wanted to try it out with one of those little instant packets of coffee. Those are very good. I don't know if they still sell them at Dollar Tree. I think that's where I used to get them, and they come with quite a few in a pack for $1.25, which is not bad. Let's go take a look at the overnight oats and see how they turned out. I just tasted the overnight oats and they're actually quite good. I know a lot of people eat them cold, like a pudding or a porridge. I like to warm mine up. If you like it to be a little thinner, you can add a little bit more milk to it. That's what I like to do. I just wanted to taste them and make sure that they were good. They should last in the fridge for about 4 days. We are actually about to have ham and cheese biscuits, so I am going to just eat those on a different day. But I thought they were really good, so it's a simple thing to do for meal prep, especially breakfast meal prep or a snack. And it's good for you, and it's a lot of ingredients that we already have on hand. So let's go get started on the ice cream in a bag. This is a really fun project for little kids, and if you don't have an ice cream maker, or if you just don't have the time to mess with putting the chamber in the freezer for 24 hours and all that, you just want to whip something up quick, let me show you how we do it. You're going to want to start with 2 bags. You want a bigger one that you're going to put the ice and the salt in, and then you're going to have a smaller bag that you're going to put the ingredients to make the ice cream in. I will put the basic recipe in the description box below, but because I'm doing so many different modifications to the one I'm making, let me just show you what I'm doing. As you can see, there's 2 types of salts here. Not everybody has ice cream salt on hand. I just happen to have it, so this is what I'm going to use. You're going to put, I don't know, maybe 2 cups of ice into the bigger bag, and then throw about 1/3 of a cup of this ice cream salt in with it. If you don't have this, no biggie. You can use regular salt too. It's going to take you a little bit longer, but that's okay. Now you can use half and half. I don't have half and half. I have 2% milk, and I also have this vanilla creamer that is milk with creamer in it. So I figured this is going to be a little bit thicker. It's already sweetened, so I'm not going to be using sugar. Plus, when I add the fluffer nutter to it, this has already got plenty of sugar, but the basic recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then all the toppings you want to add. If you want to do chopped fruit, nuts, chocolate chips, coffee, whatever you want to do, make it your own. I'm going to go ahead and do it the fluffer nutter way. You're also going to want to add a little bit of vanilla, no matter what flavor you do, even if you do chocolate and you put some Hershey syrup or cocoa powder in there. You just want to put like maybe a teaspoon or 2 of this in your base. After you add the ice to your first bag, you're going to go ahead and put the salt in with the ice and then give it a good shake and a good mix. Next, it was time to assemble the ice cream ingredients in the smaller bag. So I did half a cup of milk, followed by half a cup of creamer, and then I put in the remaining ingredients. I did a couple of drops of vanilla, just trying to guesstimate here, and then I did a little bit of pinch of salt. Not necessary, but I love it with peanut butter especially. And then I put a couple of chunks of peanut butter, followed by some cinnamon sugar. I just thought peanut butter and cinnamon kind of go together, and just gave it a good mix. Now we're going to add just a little bit more ice, and then we're just going to shake it up. Now comes the fun part. We're just going to shake it up. Now, I'm not in a huge hurry to eat this. It really shouldn't take more than 5 minutes at the most, 5 to 10 minutes if you're in a hurry. I'm probably going to stick this in the freezer for a little bit, just because I don't want to sit here and shake it for a long time. But I had some malted milk. This would be really good in there too. Something I want to make sure that I mention to you when it comes to coffee creamer. What I used is like a half and half. It's like half coffee creamer, half milk. I'm thinking back to our camping trip. Y'all, I had to slow this down. Look how much creamer Corey put in my coffee. Oh my gosh. Have a little coffee with your creamer. I am trying out the Pink Frosting Mean Girls coffee creamer. I want to love this pink frosting creamer, but Corey poured a cup of creamer in here, so
Need more coffee.
no, it's okay. I'm gonna have to judge it another time when there's a lot less creamer in there. And it was disgusting. I know there's a lot of creamer out there that's very concentrated and very sweet. That's not the case with the creamer I use, so just keep that in mind. It's just my milk was 2%, and I kind of wanted this to thicken up a little bit. That's why I kind of did half a cup of milk, half a cup of the creamer, which is half milk and half creamer, if that makes sense. Let's just shake this, give it a massage, beat it if you got some aggression you want to get out of your system. Oh, I didn't seal the bag up all the way. The one on the inside is sealed up. I only lost a few ice cubes. You're going to want to make sure that you get all the air out of the bag, which I did that with the first one, but the second one I did not. So there was definitely an air pocket in there. It wouldn't be me without some kind of train wreck happening. It needs a little bit more time. Again, maybe if I used a little whole milk or something, it might not take as long. But look, if you like soft serve ice cream, I think this will do the trick. Or if you want to drink it like a frothy milkshake or something, check it out. I know if I waited a little bit longer and if I shook the bag a little bit harder, I would have had more of an ice cream. You can't really tell from the video. It just looks like liquid, but it is nice and slushy. If you've ever had one of those, I think it's called a frosted coffee from Chick-fil-A, this is like that, except it's like a frosted fluffernutter. And I think adding that hint of salt really brought out the peanut butter flavor. It just gives it that sweet and savory vibe. So I promise you this experiment works. I just didn't do it the right way. Well guys, that concludes our peanut butter bonanza extravaganza. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you've got some kind of an abundance of a particular food item in your pantry, do not fret. There is a way to use it. You just have to get creative. If you have too much of something and there's a chance that it might spoil before you get around to using it, then consider having a food swap with some friends or neighbors or family in your area, getting together and saying, hey, anybody need some green beans for some tuna fish? There are options out there. If you've got a food pantry in your area that you could donate to, or one of those blessing boxes like I showed y'all in one of my last videos. Do not get overwhelmed. If you find a good deal on something, like at Kroger where they do the 10 for 10s, sometimes they've had jars of peanut butter for 99 cents if you buy 10 of them. And you know, there are ways to use what you got. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. And as always, I welcome your comments. If you have any suggestions on other videos you would like to see in the future, please drop them in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It costs you nothing, and what's better than free? Am I right? And it helps me out. So I hope y'all are doing well, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Hazel, say bye. Say bye.